whiskey one. Shit's hit the fan, we're overrun. Sending boys in the trucks with the 50 cals. Tell every swinging dick bringing extra rounds. Hang in now, boys, we're on our way. Don't send them out of heaven before we get a taste. Whoa, cry havoc, let's slip the doors away. What you gonna do? And happy Sunday, folks. Welcome back to the Double S Podcast. We are live tonight. Last week we recorded. Tonight we're live. We are back in studio here. And joining me tonight, co-hosting the event here is my man, Mr. Brick himself, Mr. Justin Brick. Let's bring him on in. Well, bam. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Hey, man. Just glad to be back home. You know, it was a quick turn and burn, and then we had some Heroes on the Water stuff. And by the way, officially, we are Heroes on the Water Brothers now, as well as TPO Brothers, which is awesome. Southern Colorado. It's the Colorado Springs VA therapeutic program has been launched through Heroes on the Water. And Mr. Brick, you are the therapeutic coordinator. How the heck was that first event, dude? What was it like to you?
It was a lot of fun. Just being a veteran myself, being able to connect with those other veterans that we all struggle with the same thing. So it was very neat just to get them out on the water, answer a lot of questions, and actually get people interested in continuing that as a hobby. That's kind of how I felt leaving. They were like, man, this is so awesome. It's so cool. I didn't think that these kayaks were X, Y, and Z. And I was like, that's why we do it competitively on the side. I mean,
that's right. Dude, your guys were a lot more into the fishing than the majority of my group usually is. That was super cool. I like seeing that. They were real inquisitive, bringing their own stuff, dude. They were in, like they wanted to bag them up.
I had to text Paul and be like, yeah, they didn't like your lures you sent them, so they brought their own stuff. In Colorado, you could be throwing those spider wire or some multicolored, braid. That was fun though.
Exactly. Yeah, man, that was super cool. And yeah, you definitely have you got those Jackson U-picks is what you have. So those things really stable. Definitely build a little bit more on the fishing tip for sure. Yeah. Our program, we got a lot more up here in the metro area. We got like 14 total kayaks. Still good little fishing platforms, real stable. But they have, that stand-up paddleboard, flair to them. They're like a hybrid beefy version of that with a Larry chair crammed in it. So, but yeah, man, that was super cool to see that get launched here. I know Hal's been wanting to expand that. Next on our list is we're going north as well. So we'll have 3 programs running in the state, man. We'll be north, we'll be metro, and then we'll have south. So now we just got to find somebody for the north because they're going to have my old butt doing both metro and north until we find somebody up there. But that's all right.
The road's going to be hot.
It is. That's all right. I got about 10, 15 more. I think I need to shed. So I need to stay mobile, right?
Yeah.
And you will too, dude. You will notice it keeps you busy.
Trying to get them on the Mm-hmm.
Well, especially your trailer takes a little bit more elbow grease to get your kayaks on and off of that than mine does. Mine, I can just kind of pull them and drop them.
You look like a clown circus out there, all of us old guys.
That's right. That's right. Hey, before we get going too much further, let's pay the bills here real quick. Folks, every one of the Double S podcast shows brought to you by the Romans Warrior Foundation, #helping is healing. Man, if you've been following along right now, the GWAT wall has been on the move. They've been in Michigan. They've been up in Idaho. They're in Illinois. And we got an Iowa trip coming up here. The wall is moving right now through the Midwest, going to communities, healing all across, man. And we're working on some deals for next year already. If you're interested in having the wall there, get in touch with the Romans Warrior Foundation now to get a chance at getting the GWAT wall into your area for an event or whatever. Reach out now because, like I said, we've already got deposits coming in, people securing dates for next year. You can guarantee guess what the hot dates are, that people want to, that they're having festivals or things going on. They want to get the wall in there. So yeah, reach out now sooner rather than later. There's a $500 deposit. That's it. And that once the contract is signed, that secures your date with us. So, and then they'll work out the rest of the donation with you on how that works. So that, like I said, every show is sponsored by the Romans Warrior Foundation. Check them out. Our little field ops division, we're out there doing outdoor events, kayak fishing left and right. That's basically what we're in charge of with those guys here, and what the True Patriot Outfitters manages for them. Of course, the Heroes Media Group, Adam Bird, the entire collection of fantastic podcasts at the Heroes Media Group over there. We love Adam, love our fellow co-host and host out there running around. Their sister company, HMG Beverage Coffee, veteran-owned organization, sister-owned organization to Heroes Media Group. Check out Kickstart. That's my favorite coffee out of all of them. And let's see. And that's that. Bills are paid. All right. So look, to punch the 600-pound gorilla that's sitting in the room, it's been a crazy-ass week, folks. And this is the Double S Podcast. The first part of this show, we're going to talk about a fantastic tournament that we had a chance to partake in, and just part of a much bigger group of other nonprofits working and people. We're going to talk about that. We're going to recap that. Then we're going to talk about a couple events coming up in a couple weeks. Talk briefly also a little bit about next year, some cool ideas we have brewing for next year already. And then the conversation is going to get a little heavier. We are going to try to unpack what took place this week in our nation, because I think to say that nothing happened, or to say that we're just going to stuff our head in the sand and turn away from this stuff and just go fishing or whatever, hey man, I'd love to too, but I'll tell you what, that's what kind of got us where we're at. We gotta deal with this stuff, right? We have to. So we'll do that. And when that time comes, we'll let you know, and we'll get to that, because at the end of it, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to heal together. We're going to try to talk this stuff through. Brick and I are going to chime in with our opinions on stuff. If you've got some opinions, throw them in the comments here. You want to get in on the podcast here? Hit us up. Let me know. I'll get you right in here. If you got something you'd like to share and you'd like to get in studio with us here, let me know. Hey, we got some great comments coming in here. Brother Jason.
Oh, there he is.
The third in the tree amigos. Awesome. Right there.
He better pack them tubes up tight.
That's right. In the non-prison sense. And then our man Joe, is that slacklining legend? Yes, it is, Joe. That's it. Justin is here.
I'm here.
And Joe's saying he needs the wall in Seward on the 4th of July. I can't tell you right now, Joe, if that date has been secured or not, but you need the powers that be. We need to get people in contact with the Romans Warrior Foundation. So hit me up if you've got people that could get a contract underneath the belt, and secure the donation to get the wall in there. And if that be the case, then yeah, brother, we can get it in there. Like I said, it's really it's going to be up to Brian. Knows what that schedule looks like right now, and as you may guess, 4th of July is a major one. The biggest, most sought after dates. Number one is 9/11. That's probably the biggest. July 4th is probably the second. Veterans Day, that's another big one. Memorial Day, that's another big one. And so yeah, those go usually pretty fast, and we have had some organizations that have secured those like a couple of years in advance before as well, because they try to plan some big deals. So yeah, hit us up, dude, and get a hold of me. Keep it at the forefront on your priority. Get in touch with me, and I'll get you in touch with Brian, and we'll get it figured out to see if that's still up there. So awesome. All right, so dude, you better get ready for this format of this benefit tournament that we're in, because I'm telling you, I'm bringing it to Colorado. I got permission from Brother Jimmy. We're bringing it to Colorado, and it's going to be set up, right? This is a cool format, what they just did. So Peterson Outdoor Ministries, by the way, Tron Peterson, love you, brother. Thank you so very much for the hospitality. Your entire organization is an inspiration. And I'm saying this, and Tron knows this about me. I'm not in the traditional sense, a very religious dude, right? In the traditional sense. That's just not my thing, right? Tron and obviously it's a ministry, y'all. So it very much is. But I'll tell you what, being surrounded by that much love, that much brotherly and sisterly camaraderie, and feeling when you're on the property there that you're home, dude. You're just home, right? And as long as you got an open mind and an open heart when you go in there, that place, the Lodge of Hope, is unbelievable. 200 plus acres of just pure woodland outdoorsman's paradise. And the people from I can't remember. I told you I'm horrible at names. Can't remember the young lady that was serving us food the whole time. Goodness gracious, I felt like I gained 32 pounds that weekend. What a great food that was that they were serving. They took care of us there, man, at Peterson Outdoor Ministries. But so they got a 35-acre pond, loaded. Dog, I mean, loaded. Like big old biggins, big round biggins in that water.
Do the working man tournament when you go.
Right. And so but it's 35 acres, dude. So it's really small. So when Jimmy was first talking to me about this, about wanting to do a tournament out there, I'm like, bro, I don't know how you're going to do that, man. That's a small body of water. There was like 6, 7 of us. We did a field ops there a year ago. And I'm like, that was pretty much the max dudes, on the water at one time is 5, 6, 7 people. Otherwise, you're going to be literally casting over each other's kayak pretty soon, Well, he did it, man. He come up with the way to do it. So we go there. There are 5 teams. Each team has 3 anglers on it. The way it works is relay. So each team puts 1 angler on the water at a time. The other guys sit back with their kayaks on the docks, sitting over there on the water waiting. First guy goes out, fishes 3 hours, comes back. There's a half-hour turnaround. You're allowed to share information, tell each other, what you need to do. This is what I found. This is what was working. Dirka. Then next dude goes out. Next angler goes out. Because we had some awesome lady anglers out there that were killing it, doing a great job, tearing us up, showing me exactly how to actually catch fish. And then the next person goes out for 3 hours, comes back, and then the final one. Well, dude, Stacy Jordan, brother Stacy, I love you, man. Always a big help with the TPO. Dude, he was going to be there, then had some things come up. He couldn't make it. So as a last-minute sub, Jimmy, because these were random draw teams, right? Mm-hmm. You don't get to pick your team. Obviously, I sponsored one of the teams. The TPO did. I sponsored it in the name of the TPO. And so the TPO had a team. So obviously I'm going to be on that one as the team captain. And then the random draw was just everybody else. Kevin Sutherland from Bud's Baits, he was drawn, and then we had Stacy. Stacy couldn't make it, so as a guy to fill in, my man Josh Booth fills in. 2 rods in that kayak. Both of them got buzz baits on them, and that's all he brings: a tackle box full of buzz baits and 2 rods with buzz baits.
He's gonna catch a big one. That's what he's gonna do.
Dude, he just about had big bass. Jimmy beat him by a 1/4 inch at the end of the day. But yeah, Booth goes out, sets the single. He was the highest scoring angler as far as size goes because he had the morning shift, right? So he's first guy out, tears it up. Then Kevin goes out. Kevin mashes him up. He mashes a big one in there too. And there I am. I'm left as the 3rd man out. Team honor. This jersey's sitting right behind me over here. I am pretty much in a place where all I got to do is pretty much go out there and catch a couple fish, right? And get them on the board. And pretty much that should secure it for us. Because if I don't catch any fish, because as the day was going on, the pond was getting stingy. Mm-hmm. If I don't catch fish, then I'm literally going to lose it for us because we were in first place after Josh. We were in first place after Kevin. And I'm sitting here like, dang.
No pressure.
Dude, the first 9-inch fish I caught, I'm like, yep, getting it on the board, boy. I'll tell you. Normally I'd throw it back, but I'm like, hell no, no. If 9 inches is the difference, that's what we're getting. So I end the day, literally in the last 30 minutes, I made a 2-inch cull. We won by 3 total inches. I had 11 and a 3/4 and had a 13 and change is basically were the 2 fish. Bro, I spent most of my 3 hours, I spent a good solid 2 offshore and looking in those deep, brush piles and trying to pull the big boys out of there because it was thin pickings. And then I went to the shore with, I should have thrown a buzzbait. I really should have. But it was like, my shift was what, 2 to 5, so that was my shift in that time. So just when we were getting off the water, it was starting to get good, right? That 5:30 range. But yeah, dude. So we wrapped it up. And the cool thing about this format, bro, we were fishing the motivator. Each one of the teams had a vet assigned to it. A vet that was nominated and drawn by the board, the governing board there, drew 5 names and assigned them each to a team, these vets. Our vet was Roy Boyd. Roy doesn't own a kayak. Roy's never been out kayak fishing. But he was really interested in learning.
Especially when you get him out there in it.
We won him a brand new canoe that's loaded together from Bud's Baits out of Joplin and Carthage there. So all these organizations coming together for this, dude, to know we were going out there. We walk up there, we get our trophies. I handed my first place trophy to Roy because I wanted him to have that. And bless his heart, he sent a picture like the day after of his cup of coffee and his trophy right behind it. So just starting the day off. And I'm like, hell yeah, dog. Yeah, man, I got to tell you, it was one of the coolest, awesome deals, and I haven't had that much fun. And so thankful to Josh Booth and Kevin Sutherland going out there and just hammering on them and anchoring us home. And I was basically just the janitor at that point, right? But clear, I mean, honestly, from an angler's point of view, take out everything else from it. From an angler's point of view, what do you think about that kind of relay format?
I think it works really well, especially for Colorado. And I say that because there's not a lot of big lakes here. What do you have? Pueblo, we got Chatfield, Horsetooth. They're still not that big. Pueblo is your biggest one out of all of them. And it kind of gets overfished and overcrowded a lot. And so if you really want to do like some kind of tournament per se on a smaller body of water and everybody's on teams and they can do a relay, I think it puts added pressure on the person that's the angler, number one. Number two, it makes it a little bit more, it's kind of like the MLF, right? If you were out and you were catching it and you got so many minutes before the end of the first quarter, it kind of has that feel to it. So I think it's a great idea. I think you would probably, especially think about the reward of it, right? Yeah, we helped a vet, but also that vet took something home that was you can't get much better than that. You go fish our tournaments, you ain't going home with no kayak.
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking, Shields, you want to step up? You want to do so? Let's do something together, Shields. Let's get after this. Caleb, if you're catching this recorded or wherever, let's do something because the TPO's getting behind this. We're going to put this on. We've got the body of water to do it. We'll have a place that'll be ready for us. We could even open it up multi-species, dude. Just you catch a walleye, catch a trout, whatever. Get it on the board. Let's tally it up. Because what they did was they take the top 2 biggest for each angler. So there's no way that one angler can like anchor and, have all the big fish or whatever. Every angler's got to contribute into this to the team, right, to get it done. And so it's like each angler's top 2 biggest fish get calculated together. And we could adjust numbers. We could adjust the time that you fish, how long you're out there. Because I heard one suggestion. Marty Hughes was there, of course, and Marty suggested that what about a deal where you got 2 guys on the team and the first guy goes out for like 2 hours, comes back, his teammate goes out, then he comes back, then you go out for another 2, You come back, and the other guy goes out for the final 2. So there you get 4 total hours, and you're just rotating back and forth in there, like maybe with like a 15-minute grace period in between it or whatever. And I'm like, see, there's a lot of things we can do with this. Jimmy's come up with something that I think would be super cool, a great way to, fish also, like you said, man, for that motivation piece. I think we can get some people behind this. And do this. And you're right, dude. I mean, you look at these bodies of water we fish in Colorado. They might be acreage big, but dude, they fish small, right? Horsetooth, come on. Don't, I challenge any of you Colorado anglers. Tell me that pretty much if you got a shot, you're going north, and the point you're going to go to north as well, and you're going to try to slide in and see if dude will let you fish the point with him. Because that's who's going to win this damn thing almost every time. But yeah, I think, we could do that even in Nebraska waters too, dude. We could take this around, and if we get more people doing this kind of thing, and other organizations getting behind it and hosting it, heck yeah. Yeah, the more the merrier. This could be a lot of fun. So get ready. We're going to bring that stuff to Colorado. That's coming next year. We'll start planning for that stuff right out the gates. I wanted to real quick, let's see here if I can share some of these. Squirrel Minnows is now moved to a purely share screen. Is it this one? No, it's this one. They have moved to purely a photography base. So bam. Not as full screen as what I had hoped. Oh well, we'll cycle through these. My man Jimmy at the buzzer beater, 30 minutes to go, or no, 8 minutes to go, and he puts Big Bass up on the deal. He beat Josh Booth with that hog right there, right out in the middle. That's my man Kevin smashing a biggin. You could hear Kevin yelling across the lake, dude. He's like, yeah! Super cool. Jonathan Dominguez from Eco Fishing Shop smashing him a good size one there as well. There's some big fish in that water. So that's one of the posts there. Let's see here. This is a pretty good series of photos as well. My man Josh right there, and then center, that's our vet Roy Boyd, and Kevin was standing over. This was the third period where I was heading out. There we got the old blue moose. We're on the way. We're on the way out. That guy in that red one there, that's one of those blue sky 360s, one of those big catamaran style.
Those.
Yeah.
Does it have like a little ramp? They have a ramp that you just walk up.
Yep. He can stand up on it. You see, he's got like 52 rods and reels sitting there.
You can catch him with at least one. You don't need 8.
Dude, he's got like 9 horizontal and about 12. He looked like a commercial shrimp boat.
He's the real deal.
Yeah. Let's see. Then there was Shay, new brother Shay that we met over there. He's an awesome young man. Let's see. That's Shane Kuhn. We're looking at the back of Shane there from. I apologize, Shane. I'm going to get this wrong, but it's. I believe it's anglers in the action of Christ, fishermen, anglers. I'll look it up. And I'll get it right next time through there. But yeah, those two guys right there, just great dudes. There's homie there. I think that's Miss Tanner is who that is. Christy Tanner, I think, is who's on the right there. She's a Moyak angler. My man Marty out there also with Cindy.
That's a goat right there.
Yeah, he is. Dude, we had Josh Booth and Marty Hughes, and I was trying to explain this to the people there. I'm like, you guys do understand that of the 6 people, or if we made a Mount Rushmore in kayak angling, you're looking at probably 2 of the dudes' faces that would go up there, and Josh Booth and Marty Hughes. We are so fortunate to have these dudes with us here, and so cool to see them. Marty had such a blast. It was so cool to see him there and fishing away. Yeah, Squirrel Minnows, she did. This is Misty Burgess that took all these photos. She did an amazing job. There was Shane out there getting back in. There's a little creek, as you can see, a little creek that runs in, and just awesome stuff, man. Little contemplation going on as to why the big one did not want to jump on his hook. And I love what Corey said there. Look at the joy in his face. Even my wife said, she goes, you know what? You're actually smiling and laughing in this photo right here. I'm like, yeah, because it was, I had just such an amazing, there's Shane. Love me some Shane Coon. He's a good dude, man. And like I said, I may not have shared the same, belief structure piece. Not in the conventional form. We probably share similar spiritual beliefs, but mine might be from a little bit different angle. But man, an open, amazing, and just truly brotherly, setup to be around these guys. Every last one of them, these guys and gals, it was just such a cool deal. These were great shots being taken out here. Look at my man with the glide baits. He wasn't playing around. He's like, I'm just going to throw the $250 one right out here. Letting it slang.
You're throwing cinder blocks in the water.
My homie right here. Y'all, I want you to pay attention right here. This is a man that doesn't own a kayak. This is a man that came from Ohio. This is a U10 that we had at Peterson Outdoor Ministries. And my man went out there, paddled his whole day. Never been in a kayak before. This man had a 25-inch, would have taken big bass by about 3.5 inches. He had a 25 on the board when it decided to go, not today, Charles. It flipped. It took the board with it, and my man reached and dove for both of them and went ass over tea kettle in about 3 foot of water, went right into the water trying to get it back. Oh, I'm telling you. We saw it on the side when he was over by the shore there, and I'm like, yo, we got a guy in the water here. So everybody's kind of, up on the deck there. We're all scrambling like, Charles, you okay? You good? He's like, yep, I'm good. He's picking out like you see him digging the water and a fishing pole comes out. And then he's like, I lost the catch board though. And then he told the story that, he had a 25-inch. He never got the picture taken. He couldn't get it up there. My man here, I'm not going to get into the personal side, but I'll tell you what, this guy, I don't know why, but I've seen his face before. He has fished at a pretty high level. And we tried to figure out, he's from Ohio. I did live in Ohio for a short period of time. I never forget a face. That's the thing. And I know dude's face from somewhere. We've run into each other somewhere down the line. But being at Peterson Outdoor Ministries and being a part of this thing changed his life. That's all I'm going to say in a major way. And so it was so cool seeing him out there. Everybody, man, from top to bottom. It was an absolutely game-changing type event. There was a couple of damn hogs, and then there was about 9,000 size fish, 9-inch to 11, 12-inch. And we were all talking about that. Yeah, that would be a good thing to thin a bunch of those out. And so Tron's he's going to be working on it. There's my man Booth. Booth wasn't playing around. He's got a motor on the back, but he runs that thing at full speed and then paddles because he's looking for every speed advantage he can get.
At 5-6 mile an hour fast as he can get there.
Heck yeah, he's rolling. There's Dominguez locking his big boy
he's
up.
Got a little Garmin force current on that one.
Yep, he's running the force current. So yeah, super cool pictures. Misty Burgess, you outdid yourself. Great photos from that week. It goes on and on. Go check out Squirrel Minnows. That's the place you want to go to. Right there. Go check them out on Facebook and check out all the great photos and such that they had. Again, like I said, man, just a changing and what a cool, this is what kayak fishing is about. The community, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, the family, hanging out, sharing stories. Just such a cool deal. We're going to try to see if we can create a small version of that right here next year. We'll a couple times, maybe one in the spring and one in the fall, see what we can get done. Could be a lot of fun. All right, Brick, what you been fishing?
Whew. Well, recently we're about to hit another tournament coming up, McConaughey, which is this weekend.
Are you heading up to that one?
I am. So
Nice.
We'll follow Jason up there. I talked to him today, so we're gonna team back up like we did back in Norton. So at Norton it was 2-day tournament. Finished the first day in third, and then had a run at it at the end. But everybody had a run at it because everybody was so close.
Right.
I had it in my hand. It's kind of like that 25-inch. I had fished these trees all day long. and Eli was or Levi was kind of on the other side, and he saw me hook into this thing, and it pulled me down, and then it spun me around the kayak around, and I have the rod. You know, when you get in this position where you got the rod behind you, and
Right?
you got the net in this hand, and then the fish jumps. And so when Levi saw the fish jump, he goes, "I'm on the way! I'm on the way, dear!" And I'm like,
Hey,
I'm trying to hold on to him. Yeah,
Jason says thanks for your money.
that was a funny thing there too. Because I think there was like a comment. We had a side thing going, and I think the comment with Rojas and everybody else was like, I think as long as he doesn't catch any fish, we're gonna get it. Because I was way out. I was up there. I was feeling pretty confident, and then that fish that got off, I would. Jason wouldn't have went home with what he went home with, but Jason did make a comeback and he did what he was supposed to do. He found the fish like he always does. Eventually, you get him on a 2 day and he don't catch him on the first day. I bet you $1 that man gonna go find him on the second day. Same
Yeah.
thing with Red Willow last year. I saw him on the first day. He kind of was like, and then he went and found the fish. He strategically just said, you know what I'm going to do? I could see him doing it. I'm going to go find him. I don't care if I catch another fish the rest of the day. I'm going to go find out what Brickland's down here doing. All of those weeds and everything, and he figured it out. So I knew it was going to be a run at it at the end, but it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. We caught so much fish. Um,
Did it fish well, Norton? Even
I
in
did.
that heat?
Well, it was hot, but um, it was kind of like when you would think what would be the average day for Norton, what would you say for a good weight?
Um, Average five, you're talking about five fish?
Yeah, just 5 fish. Like
I'd say, what, 80?
yeah, and then Brian comes in with 85
Yeah, yeah,
on the first day, and so he beaten everybody by 5 inches pretty much.
yeah.
And then
High 70s, 80s, low
everybody
80s.
was right there in the high 70s. I think I had 70 something, maybe I can't remember what it was, but
Yeah.
it was like quarter of an inch separated everybody down the line. So it was like, all right, guys, we're all in it. And then Nick ended up winning the tournament.
So
Straw,
cool.
yeah, he deserved that one.
Nick had it last year, man. He had it last year. It's been a long time coming. So,
Yep.
Nick, if you do see this, don't know if you will, but congratulations, man. We put out a post there and said the same thing. It's good to see Nick wrap that up.
But I thought Straws was going to win it at one point because he was right. He came up behind me, and I had just missed a fish on this tree, and he come by me and he nailed a big fish on a buzzbait. He started hollering. The whole cove started hollering. It was
Straws did?
yeah. He was
Straws caught one on a buzz bait?
yes, he did.
What
He
the
started going
hell?
woo, woo. I mean, everybody stopped what they're doing. We celebrated with him. It was a fun time. So, but we're back at it again next week.
That's
Me
right.
and Witherall have to put another good, strong showing up for our team. But we'll see what happens. I've never been there, but that has not stopped me before. So,
Lake Mac, yeah. Yeah, Lovell and I got a chance to get up there end of early this year. We went up there and fished a little bit, and it was a little bit slow, but caught a big old pike and caught quite a few things up there. So yeah,
so I'm
they're
expecting it to be rock. I didn't see a lot of anything else.
yeah.
So from a pitcher standpoint, you know what I mean. I haven't.
Smallies will be the name of the game. There's no question. Big smallies for sure. Yep. Good stuff. Lake Mac going up to Nebraska. Well, good. Hey man, couple weeks here. We got a heck of an event coming up that we want to share with you folks here real quick. This is a big one here in the Colorado area. Let me share screen again. Here in the Colorado area, we want to say thank you to the park rangers at Stanley Lake and to all of the first responders in the local community here. So if you're seeing this, if you're hearing this, if you're within earshot of it, please come by. If you're out of state and you're a supporter of the TPO and you want to come camp with us for the weekend, come on out. We got you covered. We got the lodging covered for you. Hang out here. We're going to have some good food. We'll have some kayak fishing going on Saturday. Got games around. Check out Stanley Lake Regional Park. It's going to be Friday in the evening. We'll hang out around the campfire. Saturday all day we'll be doing the fishing. We'll have Heroes on the Water, True Patriot Outfitters, Romans Warrior Foundation all coming together to collaborate on this to say thank you for everything they do for us. This is the last weekend that Stanley Lake will be open as they close down boat access to the water as of October 1. They shut that down, and then they'll reopen again next, I believe it's May 1st probably. So yeah, we don't get a chance to be on there that much, and so but when we are there, it's a beautiful park. It is well maintained, it's clean. The rangers and everybody there are so phenomenal. They do a great job of showing how humans and wildlife can coexist out there. And I'll tell you this, hands down, dude, this fishery is getting stronger and stronger every year. I had, hands down, the best season of taking people out there. Multiple double-digit fish days, 16s, 17s, several PBs for some of the vets that we had a chance to take out there. Have a guy that's in his 60s. He lives about a quarter mile from the place. Said he had never caught a fish at Stanley Lake his entire life. We took him out there, put him on a bunch of good fish. Our day got cut short because storms were blowing in. But he had a blast. We're taking. He's bringing another vet buddy with him. We're going to do one more trip with him here. I think it's next week, Tuesday before this event here going on. And so it's fishing great, and I'm hoping this final weekend here it's going to be fishing really, really good. So we'll have all the kayaks ready to go there. We'll have the TPO rigged out ones. We'll have the Heroes on the Water ones on hand, and hopefully it should be a really, really good time. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, September 26th through the 28th. If you would like, we still have one bell tent available. Can sleep 4 adults comfortably. If you want to throw an air mattress on the ground, you could probably get more people in there. These are super cool deluxe bell tents. They're in this little village. Each got their own fire pit. Kind of a cool deal. We got half of that's going to be given to us, and we're going to take over that bad boy there and have a good time for that whole week. So come join us here, especially the park rangers. If y'all are hearing this, we want you there. We want to say thank you. Good stuff. Let's check in some of these messages here. Joe's talking to us here. He says, let me go back. So Joe is saying that there's a lot of small acreage lakes on the east side of Nebraska over there too, and he says there are some big largies in there too. Joe, we need to do it, brother. We need to. If you want to help me put this together, we can put this together. I know Marty would be down. Talk to the sticks, talk to a group of people. We could do something over there. So there'll also be a good reason for me to get in the truck and drive for 6 hours or so. Come over and hang out for a few days and scout the area and do some fishing and see what we think. Man, that could be a lot of fun. What do you think, Brick? Road trip?
Road trip.
I call Little Spoon.
That's my favorite one.
There is room in my truck for just me. Sorry. Lovall has tried to squeeze in my truck. Burgess tried to get in my truck with me. Y'all need to step. You don't get none of this freshness. Go on. Get outside. Freaks. Yeah, man, that could be good stuff. Hey, so next year, dude, we're already planning, right? We're planning these events. We're getting this thing lined up. Next year's going to be balls out. It's going to be we're going to try to do big events. We'll still have the Stanley Lake arrangement. We'll still keep doing that, but we're going to try to lock in for 1 to 2 events per month. Right, that's what we're going to try to do. Where we drive and go someplace, long weekend or 3-4 days. So we're trying to arrange to get enough backing to do that. It's raising up our operating expenses quite a bit to do that. But the advantage is what we don't have. Love all you didn't kick me out. All right, we're not inviting Jason again. I said, don't ask, don't tell. Love all.
He does have nice calves. That's
Well,
what
what
remember whenever
you
the
could
first
too if
tournament.
yours were only this big like his. Yours would be too.
I'm just remember the first tournament, the first time meeting everyone, and I ended up putting my hand on Lovall's leg, and he did quite well in that tournament. He was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like,
You ain't never touched my leg, dog. What's going on here? I didn't know that was the good luck piece right there.
yeah. It was pretty. It was a fun tournament.
Heck yeah. So TPO for next year, yeah, that's what we're going to be focused on. Cool thing is we used this year, a lot of our funding went to really making sure and securing our equipment to make sure that we have what we need to be able to get out there and do the cool things. We're going to be actually cycling a few things on the equipment too to make it more efficient. Like the addition, more than likely, we're going to be selling a couple of our unlimiteds and getting U10s in their place. So just to make them a little bit easier to move around. And so with the big trailer, we're going to be selling that to get something a little more efficient for the gas and pulling around. So yeah, man, we got some cool things lined up. We're going to be trying to get after. Got a cool bunch of awesome people trying to help us. So it's just going to be a matter of getting this stuff taken care of, one little step at a time. All right. I think that's it there. We got all that stuff. Let's do this, man. We got about 25 minutes here. I'll tell you what. I had 7,000 pages worth of notes that I had at one time, and I thinned it right down.
Might as well just throw them out.
Yeah, pretty much. What it was going over, the possibility of topics here from this last week. Before I do the intro, I want to say this. If you do have kids that are around or whatever, throw some headphones on or whatever. There will be some adult language being used here, and these are going to be heavy topics, right? So I want to give the fair heads up on that kind of stuff for any of y'all out there. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to find the positive way through this stuff. That's what we're going to do. Where do you put this stuff in your head? How do you deal with this? Because there are a lot of our brothers and sisters out there. I know I went through this myself. That anger, confusion, sadness. And maybe even a sense of hopeless of where in the hell are we going? What the hell's going on with our country right now? Things of this nature, all those things, or maybe it's not. Maybe you're just numb to the whole situation. Any one of those things, in my opinion, is something we gotta address. We gotta get to and gotta figure out. So, 1 second here. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the intro for the downrange section. And that'll give you a chance to grab a headset there, and then we'll tackle a couple of these topics here real quick. All right. Political theater, Justin. We've been saying this for some time, and before I get going, opinions that you're about to hear do not reflect the TPO, Romans, Heroes Media Group, anything. They're just my personal opinions when it comes to this stuff. And again, the purpose by the end of this, where we're going to try to take this is where Brick's going to come in hand, because he is a level-headed, very smart individual, and I like to surround myself with smarter people than me. And the point where we're trying to get to is how we get to the positive, right? How do we come through this thing? How we come out the other end? How do we proceed forward? So that's what we're going to get to. But to get there, we got to acknowledge, right? We got to talk about, because like I said, sure, I'd love to just put my head down, go fishing, and just get outside and forget all about all of it. But dude, correct me if I'm wrong, Justin, but I think that's how we got to where we're at, is by just not paying the fuck attention to what's going on out there. And thinking that somebody else is going to handle it. Somebody else is going to deal with it. Somebody else will, sooner or later they'll learn their lesson. Sooner or later they'll shut up. They'll stop. And dude, I don't know where you're at on this spectrum, brother, but people that know me know me. I am not Republican and I am not Democrat. I'm an American citizen. That's what I am. I believe in our Constitution. I believe in the founding fathers and mothers of what they created for us. And I believe in your sacrifices to preserve what we have right here and the potential of what where we're going to continue to grow. So I hold no patronage to the left and the right, the blue and the red. I don't care about ideology. What I care about is people. Right?
Yeah.
And I think, of course, this is going to sound self serving, but I think if more people could get to that, they could detract a little bit. They could detach themselves from maybe some of the personal side of like, hey, just because somebody doesn't like that idea, it's not a personal attack on you, dog. Relax. You know, you're not that person. Just because I don't like the way, for instance, our president calls people names. I think that's about as childish and third grader as it gets. Stop. Now you can say this person had crappy ideas. Fair enough. But calling people names like a dog or go they're ugly and they dress funny, shut up, Don. God dang, man. Be the president because he has great ideas. I believe he has great intentions. He truly does. I believe that wholeheartedly, 100%, because I don't have to like him to think it, right? But at the same time, if he oversteps his boundaries, guess what, folks? That's what we have the Supreme Court for. That's what we have Congress for. They'll stop it. Trust me. He says a lot of outlandish shit. They'll stop him dead in his tracks. Okay, so relax. Take a deep breath. It's all going to be okay. We got a system. But this, let me bring this together here. What you have out there is you have two sides that think the other is the problem. And they keep going back and forth at each other. They keep calling each other names. Both have now claimed that the other has incited violence. Both have claimed this and that. And guess what? They're both right. Because we don't want to forget what just took place in June 14th, where we had Speaker, Minnesota House, and her husband gunned down in their own home. Now, somebody tried to tell me that this guy, I'm not even going to say his name, I'm not going to, I don't want to propagate that, but the cold-blooded nut cup assassin, because that guy also shot John Hoffman, who is a senator in Minnesota, and his wife earlier that night. He didn't kill them, but he did shoot them through the door. And then he went on to a couple other places. People weren't home. He was going down a hit list, right? And he got to the speaker's house and he gunned them down. Somebody once said that, he said that he was following Walls as direct. No, he did not. What he actually said, go to the Department of Justice website because they actually have it up there, the entire case. What he did say was Nightmare on Wall Street. Okay, so this was a right-wing dude that was fired up, weak in the brain, man, and he thought the only way he could solve his problems in his home state was to go through gunning people down. This was his solution. And so what my point on this, Brick, tell me if I'm wrong here. If the Republicans and the Democrats are going to change, they got to own it. I believe wholeheartedly they have to, like, Democrats aren't going to change the Republicans and the Republicans aren't going to change the Democrats. They got to change and own this shit themselves. They got to take ownership of this garbage themselves and stop using it as springboards for more political garbage. Start curing the stuff inside. That's my view on that. That's the only way that we're going to see those two parties actually start to clean themselves up, I think.
I think, yeah, you're on the right track, but they had plenty of opportunities to do so. Both sides. So what I think you're going to see, it's just my opinion, you're going to see a third party arise. Because at the end of the day, for what just recently happened, you had kind of the 50% of the left and 50% of the right are trying to meet in the middle at this moment. They're trying to find ways. And then you got people wanting to be all whatever, right? And so I think what is going to end up happening is it's going to force a third party to arise because they're going to like, well, we don't want to identify with this and we don't want to identify with that. And so what's crazy about it in the world we live in today, back when I was a kid, when you were a kid, like we didn't have AI. We didn't have things that would agitate you and emotionally connection that you have in your hand every day. So you could pull up social media, and then what the AI is already listening to you through Google, through your microphone, and so it's already getting cues of what you're putting yourself exposed to, and it's going to refresh it every time you look at it. And so if you remember back when Trump was running for office the second time, I think, there was that big thing with Facebook, and that they didn't really say. All they said was, "Hey, some kind of meddling," right? And so it comes down to money. So like, who's going to pay me the most money to actually put these algorithms in place? And so I think what's ultimately going to happen, in my opinion, is you're going to see something, um, whatever that is. I couldn't see that happening because at the end of the day, one side can go so far and the other one's going so far, and it's like, oh, I'm living in a chaotic world. I mean, the pendulum effect is getting faster. Like we're swinging extreme
Yeah.
left, extreme right,
Yeah.
and people are just trying to live in the middle and have a happy life. And
Well,
so,
see, and that's the thing. You got the Independent Party, you've got the Libertarian Party. Those are probably the two biggest, right?
yeah, but there's going to be something completely different because I think you're going to have enough people sick and tired of it that they're going to.
Because the Dems and the Republicans have the debate thing locked down. They won't let a third party in, right? They set the criteria, and that's the thing that I need my brothers and sisters out there. You know me well enough, all right? So I'm just speaking truth here, and I won't step out of turn if I don't think I know. I'll tell you I'm not sure on this, but I know this for a fact. We've seen it unfold since Ross Perot. The Republicans and the Democrats will not let a third party get in there. They'll find a way to kill it.
They
Because
won't. Yeah.
Ross Perot single-handedly lost that election for the Republicans. He pulled George Bush away, and Bill Clinton won the election with what, 47% of the vote?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they were the ones that started it. And now in this recent one, RFK tried really, really hard to push to get in there, and the Democrats shot him down, shot him dead in the foot, which is why he left him. They basically he had the signatures, he had everything, and then they basically found a way to nullify like 500,000 signatures or whatever. They wiped it out. They'll find a way. These two parties are so embedded and so entrenched that I could totally see what you're saying, dude.
I would mark it on a board somewhere to say today was the day.
Right? We called it.
There's something probably going to be created over the next few years if it takes that long. I think it's going to come pretty quick. But at the end of the day, it's all about how many people are behind it, right? And so
Right.
I think that's going to be the motivating factor.
Well, see, and Josh Booth has a great comment here that I'm going to get to. Josh, hang tight with me here real quick. I don't want to lose this train of thought I'm on here with this. This is one of the things that I'll tell you with Charlie Kirk's death. First and foremost, I've never used Charlie's name in any one of the posts that we've done because I refuse to jump on board this tragedy to gain trending. Because for those of you who don't understand, if you hashtag something or you say a name of a trending topic, well, then your post and your stuff will land in a lot more places because it's a trending topic. So Facebook's algorithm will place that in there. I placed one post on my personal page, and you'll notice I didn't mention his name once in there because I refused to partake in this. This is what we are. This is the world we're in now, where every one of the major media outlets, they no longer care. And we've been saying this, but I want you for a minute to take a deep breath, and I want you to soak this in really, really clear. They don't care about what's right. They don't care about what they print or say as to what damage or good or any impact it has. They do not care. They don't care if it's real or not. If there's enough rumor that supports something, what they care about is engagement. And I'll tell you, the worst offenders are the mainstream media piece. And Fox, you're on fucking thin ice with me. The only reason that I still will watch the national Fox feed that comes through is because they're the only outlet that actually will talk about good things that are happening from Washington. Every one of the others, we've seen the reports coming through. 90 some odd percent of every article talking about anything in Washington has got a bad spin to it. It's horrible. It's overreach. It's unconstitutional. It's fascist. It's like, oh my God. Because that's what their viewers want to see. They don't care about reporting news and information. They're going for clicks. So here's the simple deal. Don't say their names. Don't click on their articles anymore. Unfollow them when they show up in your feed. Choose hide this post, not relevant, spam, whatever, and shut them down. For the love of God, you about put Budweiser bankrupt because they gave a beer to a trans person. For the love of God, Budweiser wasn't destroying American society like our media stream is. You want to change them? Shut them down. That's just my entire piece. That's just my opinion on this whole thing, and that's I'm trying to practice what I'm preaching here right now. Every time I'll look something up online, if I see the source comes from one of the mainstream pieces, it's like, nope, not clicking that one. I'll keep going till I find something else that's not in the mainstream, because that's where I'm going to get the information. Let's see. Let's get to this thing that Josh is saying. I think it's important to go to this immediately here. Josh says, live and let live doesn't really work anymore when only one side believes that. And man, do I feel you, Brother Josh. You are not wrong there. But this brings us to something that here comes a real quick exercise. Now, this is going to be harder for the younger folk which I don't really think I have real young people that tune into us whatsoever or will tune in. Shit, only one of my 2 kids actually cares what I do out here with this stuff anyway, and it's the younger one. But at the end of the day, here's an exercise I want you to try. Because this will start when things start to mull up in your head, when things start to get feeling like despair or like we have no other option but the horrible options. That's our only solution. Before you go there, I want you to do this for me. And I'm going to speak to the left and I'm going to speak to the right on this. Let's use, for the right side, I have heard these terms coming down the pipe. The Democratic Party is infiltrated by Satan. It's full of evil. Democratic values are evil driven, and they don't care at all about America. They're founded in communist, Marxist. These are all the things that I hear, and I'm not saying they're right or wrong. Okay, that's not my point. But these are the things that I'm hearing. Now, from the left, most recent events with Charlie being shot, murdered in cold blood. People that hated him believed him to be this white nationalist, racist, bigot that hated people of color and all these things. That's truly their view. Again, not saying right or wrong. I have my own personal opinion on all these things. I'm not going to bring that in there. These are the viewpoints that I'm hearing from these both sides. And here's what I want both of those sides for 1 second to do. I want you to stop for 1 second. Play this game with me. What if you're wrong? Go through that piece for a second. Okay, just hypothetically, what if your view of these people or a situation, what if you're wrong? If you have a good head about you and you're a normal human being, the next thing that came into your head, if you allow that to say, okay, if I'm wrong, the next thing you went to is, then what the hell are they thinking? Or what brought them then to this place? And I'm telling you right now, on my kid's name, if you can get to that place, then what the hell are they thinking? Now you're trying to understand. Now you're not passing judgment. Now you're not full of anger. Now you're not full of hatred. Now you're trying to understand what in the hell could they be thinking. Now I get it. Make no mistake. This very well could be where you can't understand insanity. Okay? And I'm talking to both sides right now. But the point is, we get so convinced of something that we're no longer trying to scientifically or trying to search for something. All we're looking for is things to back up a predetermined notion about somebody. Because I'm telling you right now, as I sit here, live and breathe, every one of the things that I've heard about Charlie, Charlie said this, Charlie said that, Charlie said this. If you listen to the whole thing and not just the soundbite, it is not. He never once said he hated people of color. He's never once said any one of these things. That man was proceeding from love in his heart. Yes, a very biblical driven. And if that upsets you to your core, well, dude, I'm not even that religious. And how can that upset you? Honestly, what? Hope, peace, love, trying to get people to live together? I mean, holy crap. At some point, we have to say, because there are some good Democrats out there, man. And that party was never founded with the devil and Satan in its heart. You got some idiots running things that have the microphone that are doing some garbage. And yeah, I guess you know how we get rid of that? We vote them out. We get people out of office. That's how we deal with it. We don't go to the extremes of having, what we've seen take place here. That's not who we are. That's not going to get anything good, right? Do you ever follow Nick Freitas, dude? You watch any of his stuff?
Off and on, I've seen a couple of his stuff. I think I've watched here recently over the last 2 or 3 days. I've seen some of his.
He's pretty fired up right now. This is normally a very level-headed dude, and he's pretty fired up right now.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are too. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
But
no, dude, I'll admit, lot of dark things going through my head about where the possibility of this country's going, and are we at that turning point? Are we at that breaking point? First thing I did is reach out to my son, and give him a couple tips, a couple things of, keep things close to home, take care of your home base. He just moved out, so he's no longer underneath my protective roof here. So, I'm thinking of that. I'm talking to my friends in Alabama. I'm talking to my friends in Missouri that have a lot of resources that yeah, road trip, boys. This is where we're at. We're eastbound and down. If the shit hits the fan, I'll tell you where I'm not going to be. But no, that kind of stuff goes through there. But I think at some point, this is what I say is that, we've had both parties trying to use this horrible situation to gain some political ground. Of course, gun control is the first thing that comes up. Then the other side is, talking about the hateful rhetoric that's being used and such. And they're all right, except the gun control thing. That's ridiculously stupid. But nevertheless, I can at least understand why people think the gun control thing, right? It's not going to solve anything, and we know that. And there's no data that says that it will. Matter of fact, we have data showing the opposite. So we need to stop there and actually start talking about mental health, right? Start doing our part to recognize people that are hurting out there, and start getting them. I mean, not only in the veteran community, but in the civilian community to boot. Dude, we've got a mental health crisis in this country.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, real talk here. What's been your internal response to when you see some of these, especially younger kids, or teachers responding in a celebratory fashion to what just took place? Or maybe the worst one is just the whatever. Like it did nothing to them whatsoever to see that video. I don't know if you had the misfortune of seeing the video. I did. And not total different show. I don't do well with that stuff these days. I don't like seeing that kind of stuff. There's a lot of baggage back here that I don't personally, want to go through that stuff. So yeah, it stuck with me. Didn't sleep right for 2 days, after seeing that video. And I just, for me, it is very difficult to fathom how somebody could have seen that video and not have some sort of response of, oh my God, and your humanity switch. But what went through your head when you saw some of these people with their response that way?
To be honest, it made me angry.
Yeah.
In the event that his daughter was there.
Oh my God, yeah.
And when the shot went off, the reports say that she ran to her dad or was running to her dad. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's true. That's just the reports. However,
we know his wife and kids were there, though. We know that.
So, like I said, we live in an age of AI and technology, right? Social media. You have the freedom to say whatever you want to say.
Yep.
However, that doesn't mean that there's not consequences for what you do if you're employed by a company that wants to distance themselves of any kind of repercussions after. And
Yeah.
so it didn't make it, being in the military is the same way. You're not, they pretty much tell you straight up front, like, you can't protest in uniform. You can't post your political views and while you're in uniform because then they're going to say, well, that's the military's perspective, right? And so the company is taking that same outlook on it as I don't want what happened to Budweiser to happen to me.
Yep.
And so they probably learned from that. They took Budweiser's probably as their project model to kind of study and be like, no, this is number one. It's kind of not who our culture is about. However, this goes way more further than just an individual. We can hire another individual, but at the same process, I don't want my company going under somebody's
Yeah.
for what they said or what they did, and then people what they are doing now. Oh, this person works at this location, and so now it's like, oh, I got to do something now because now they figured out where this individual is and where they're working.
Yeah.
So I understand the steps that are being taken. However,
You know
for
what?
people, at the end of the day, um, I'm not a perfect person, right?
No, none of us are, brother. None of us are.
I'm a Christian. I'm not. I'm a sinner for real.
Yes, sir.
So I understand in the heat of the moment, whatever that individual is going through. Um, Hopefully, there's a way back
Yeah.
after whatever happens. But at the end of the day, we am I surprised? No, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't see that as well, especially on such a big platform like TikTok or Facebook or I mean, you put your business out there, people are going to hold your feet to the fire, especially
Yeah.
after such a horrific scene that a lot of people saw what happened, and then you
Well,
get into who was there and what's left of this aftermath, and then
and
you know,
despite what some folks to capitalize on what you just said there, despite what some folks would say, you see, as a person who's not attached to these things, I had an opportunity to see these people and watch some of this stuff unfold in its pure form with no predetermined thoughts. One of the greatest messages that Charlie talked about, one of the most misquoted things, where people said that Charlie said that child deaths were worth the Second Amendment. And that's such a, you know what? If that's truly what you think, then you have the comprehension level of a third grader. Now, I don't mean that as an insult. I mean that as a true deal, because you didn't listen to the entire speech or the entire conversation that he was having about this. What he was giving you was a very grown up and hard truth that our personal liberties that are bestowed upon us through, number one, our Creator, as stated in the Constitution, but number two, our Constitution, those liberties come at a cost, and they come with a responsibility, such as free speech, such as the Second Amendment, such as every one of our personal freedoms. They come at a cost, and we have a responsibility as productive citizens of this nation and patriots of this nation to conduct ourselves accordingly. This was one of the lessons he was trying to basically convey across to people, that if you were to look, we have over 50,000 automobile deaths every year. Does that mean we should stop driving? No, we understand that unfortunately having the freedom of driving and the benefits outweigh the 50,000 deaths. He said that in that context because he was trying to be very adult and have a very real conversation with the people that were in front of him. He was speaking a very clean truth there. And how exactly, because I didn't look at him and go, I don't know if I like this guy or not. No, I was like, who is this dude? And I started running into his conversations about 2 years ago is when I actually started following a lot of them. I didn't share all of his views. Okay. A lot of Charlie's stuff was a little too thick, from the Bible for me personally. I know he did, like, for instance, does not agree with same-sex marriages and all those things. I personally think absolutely they're two grown-ass human beings that they're signing a government-signed contract. Now, if your church doesn't want to do that, that's your church's prerogative. Fine, fine. And secondly, he, in my opinion, Charlie wanted too much of the church in our politics. There's a separation of church and state. Churches don't pay taxes. Churches should not have public policy in there. The people, however, that are voted in, if they want to bring their belief structure to that, fine, that's fine. Whatever. I mean, that's why they're voted there. That's the whole purpose of it. But never once did I take the things that he was saying as this horrible hatred type deal. They were just very real answers that our politicians didn't want to say, man. They're afraid to say it because of the backlash that comes from that stuff.
So, and another thing on that is he brought. So he brought.
That's real, Joe. That's real.
Charlie was able to bring the debate to the campus, right?
Right.
So in a university, depending where you go to university, you pick the university that most aligns with what you believe in and what subject you want to study. So if I was an engineer, I would want to go to Virginia Tech. If I was, LSU for medical, there's different places people pick to go to these locations. And what happens is they silo up. So all the information that you're getting from all your professors and universities, there is a common motto that it's going forward. So if you've never had
100%.
somebody and go and challenge, what are we teaching? That was his goal. So
I'm telling you right now, I have firsthand experience. There is no question in my mind whatsoever because I've seen it very, very personally.
yeah.
I've seen what a college can do to a young mind. I'll save that for a later podcast. It is a very personal, topic for me, but I've seen it, what it does to an otherwise moderate viewpoint and how far it can throw opinions and such of an individual to the point where, it's damaging, dude. It truly is damaging. And it does not teach free speech. It doesn't teach open-minded, critical thinking. What it teaches is this is the way, and any other way is horrible and is bad. And that's got to stop. And Charlie was breaking that, dude.
He was breaking he was allowing it to.
Yep.
Anyway, so another person that I had something similar like that in my life was my English teacher in the 9th grade was Mr. Jackson. And every time he would get up there, he'd be like, challenge your horizons, learn something new. At the end of the day, this is your first thing to learn something new. And so you kind of take that world perspective of, you have to challenge ideas. You have to be a critical thinker. You need to, but what also he made a lot of people mad is like if you failed one of his tests, he'd bring you a Sonic application. Can't do that today. You can't do that what he used to do today. He would literally bring you and put a Sonic application.
Shit, today that's $20 an hour, baby.
Good luck, because you ain't gonna make it very far, son. If you ain't gonna get through this, I was like, oh.
I love that.
But,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
But the highlight of it is this: everybody needs to have continue to have open communication and love each other. Like, if it's your neighbor, and you just love your neighbor. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you don't have to agree with each other, but as long as you can come together and break bread or just have normal conversations, I don't care.
Yeah.
Come over to me. Hey, we can go out in the backyard and throw some burgers and hot dogs on the grill, and we'll have a good time.
Yep.
And I won't judge, and I won't, because I have to judge myself first. Because if I'm claiming to be something, then
Yep.
I needed to make sure that I'm not the best form of it either. So at the end of the day, open communication and loving arms is the only way that going forward, this place is ever going to make it.
You couldn't be more right, dude. And there is Josh Booth is this statement that he said that still rings off. Living doesn't work anymore when only one side believes that. You're right, Josh. It doesn't. And there are some people that you're not going to be able to break bread with. And I think what's important, one of the things that, we've heard this saying around here: when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And my point to this is, yes, you're correct. And that means that the people that we can see that are clearly off their damn rocker or not willing to learn and move forward in a positive manner, you erase them. You get rid of them from your channels, from your existence, from your personal space. I truly meant what I said on that Facebook post that I put out there, that just do me a favor. Don't talk to me. If you're the kind of person that would find, some sort of enjoyment in that, do the favor for me, because if I find out later, I'll do it for you. Don't come up to me in person if you know me, that I'm out there, because you're just not the kind of person I want to be around ever. You're a person. I'm not saying you got to like the dude, right? That's fine. No, I'm not telling you how to think there. But if you have no humanity left in you, if you're that dull, which, by the way, our younger generation, I think a lot of the dullness and the, oh, well, whatever responses, don't you think for one iota that the sheer, drastic, incredibly disgusting amount of antidepressants we have flowing through people in today's society doesn't have something to do with that? One of the side effects that those certain medications can have is truly a numbing effect when it comes to emotion. It's meant to keep you calm, and what that does is it dulls the senses, man. Now, in some cases it works, and it's a great thing, and it's a needed commodity. I'm not downing the whole thing. But for a lot of our kids these days, and by kids I mean anybody 30 and under, kids, for that group that runs around out there, they have said these words. Words are violence. Oh my God. If somebody tells me that words are violence, bless your heart. Because that's somebody who's never truly engaged in actual real violence. And I pray you never have to. Because I'm telling you, as somebody who used to live in that world, words are not. A harshly worded email is not violence. Bad words are not violence. Now, can they incite violence? Yes. Can they be abuse? Absolutely. They most certainly can. Can they hurt? 100% they can. And they're still not even remotely close to actual real violence. And we've got to get to that ground here. One other thing that I absolutely loved, and I learned from this 31-year-old man, Mr. Kirk, that I want to carry forward. This is when we talk about living and working together. Here might be the biggest key point, and this was a message that I learned from Charlie. It was one of the reasons why he knew in his mind why he was so confident in the fact that God does exist and we have proof to it. And what he said was, for us to understand one another, we need to get to the point where we have an objective view of good and bad, right and wrong. And that's what God sets. God sets, we know that something is good or evil because we have a transcending ability to understand God is here in this, is the ultimate of good. Therefore, things less than that, you have that measure, right? I'm going to go one step further from that off to the side and just say, if you are not somebody who has a moral, objective opinion about what's right and wrong and good and bad, if we can't agree on that there is a standard, that killing, stealing, hurting, raping, these are bad things. Morally and fundamentally, these are all bad things. Regardless of culture, regardless of age, if we can't agree that there's a good and a bad, then we're never going to get anywhere, right? And that's what I believe Nick Freitas, that's why I was asking you, when Nick says we have two, he's not sure that we can actually come to grips with each other anymore, because he doesn't not sure that we can coexist with these two type of views that don't seem to see eye to eye like that. And if that is the case, if there is this subjective opinion about what's moral and what's not, that it's okay to point out or try to make light of an assassination in public view in front of his family, then you're right. Yeah, that's not an individual that I think we should be talking with or to, nor should it be somebody representing us, at the high, at any level of public office out there. But until we come to that fundamental agreement about right and wrong, good and bad, we're not going to get anywhere. So once we focus on that, maybe we should focus there about, these are things that we should be doing, things that we shouldn't be doing. And then I think from there we can actually start to move forward. And here's the thing. Stop waiting for everybody else to do it. Let's do it together, just amongst friends. Let's make sure we got each other's back. Let's make sure around family. We are brothers and sisters out there. Humanity speaking, America-wise, you name it, man. Through our country, we have the same desired pieces. And I know those people that are close to me. I'd do anything I could, to take care of and help wherever possible, because I know they do the same for me. I take a lot of heart in that, but I think that therein lies maybe some of the issue is that we need to find that common ground.
Yeah. And or things you don't like people, what you hear, what they say. That's called, you could say that could be harassment, but never violence, because they're not actually giving you harm.
Exactly. Yeah, look up the Oxford Dictionary. Not that I'm a huge fan of Oxford, but it is one of the most linear ones that are out there. Oxford Dictionary, it'll tell you exactly what violence is, and it shows, and it clearly states a physical act of some kind.
Again, we could throw it out there. Everyone be safe. Like, be careful what you post and who your audience is, because at the end of the day, somebody's probably not going to agree with you, and they're probably going to.
Sure.
All right. So that's why in the military, like, I'll go back to that again. Like, it's a policy.
Yeah.
So,
it's a good policy.
Yeah.
So here, I'm gonna close with a story here real quick. This is a story that I was told long ago, and I actually reheard it again online by I don't know who the hell it was. It was just a reel that I was doom scrolling through, that like I shouldn't be doing. And this guy told us with a few different things. And I'm going to tell this story from a first-person point of view, and just know that this is not my personal experience, but the story gets told better that way, and the message gets across there. And what it's talking about is a viewpoint in how we take things, how we deal with things. So when I was a little kid, I used to go to my grandma and grandpa's house. And they lived out in the country on a farm out there. And Grandpa was outside and he was working in the farm, and I was running through the house, and Grandma was over in the kitchen and she's cooking something there, and she's over by the stove, and she called me over. She said, "Boy, come over here." So go over to the stove there, and Grandma's got 3 pots of boiling water on the stove, nothing in them. And to the next to the stove, there are 3 bowls. In these 3 bowls are 3 different things. You got eggs, you got some potatoes, you got some coffee beans. And Grandma carefully, she says, "Now, this water here, this is the world. All right, each one of these represents the world." She takes an egg with her spoon and she puts it in the water, and then she takes a potato and she puts it in another pot, and third pot she puts some coffee beans in there. And she sits there quietly, makes me stand there quietly, and after a couple minutes she takes one of the eggs out. She cracks it, and it's hard boiled now, right? Puts it back in the bowl, and she takes a potato out, and it's all cooked and soft and mushy, and she puts that in the bowl. And she looks over at the coffee there, and she stirs a little bit. And she's got brewed coffee going on over there. You could smell it, man. Coffee was brewing. And she says, "Boy," she goes, "we have choices when the world throws things at us. You can be like the egg, and you can let the world harden you. You can let it just basically all the dark things you want out there in the world. It can harden you and make you resistant to just about anything and not be able to hear or understand much. Or you can be like the potato and let the world make you soft and weak and just you crumble the moment you get anywhere outside of it. Or you could be like that coffee bean. And instead of letting the world change you, you change the world around you. And the point that that story goes to make is be that coffee bean, y'all. When this stuff comes at us like this is not the time to go to get, grab our guns and run for the cabin in Montana. This is not the time to crumble to our knees and hope that peace, love, and harmony will outlist everything. But now is the time, and we can't put our heads in the sand anymore. Now's the time we got to come together, and we need to start in our neighborhoods, start with our families, start in our neighborhoods, start in our communities. It's time that we change the world around us. That's the only way this is going to get done. That's how this country was founded. That's what the principles were about, that we weren't going to let. I mean, do y'all remember what the tax rate was at the Boston Tea Party? I think it's what, 0.5%, 2% tax or whatever, and they flipped the hell out. And I mean, they about burnt the city to the grounds. And nowadays you got 25, 30% of your check getting taken out and you're just, okay, I guess so. We've become pretty damn tolerant to some stuff is all I'm getting at. But now's the time that we got to start at home. And however you see fit, stay close to your faith, stay close to your family, stay prepared. There ain't no doubt about that. Stay prepared, stay ready with this stuff, but don't let it harden you to the point where you're not capable of taking things for face value out there. And we're going to find a way through this stuff. We're going to keep talking about it. That's also, don't bottle that shit up. If you're out there, hit the TPO up, man. We got a whole team of dudes here that and people. We got connections all across this nation that we can get you in touch with. People that have walked in your shoes. I guarantee you, I know somebody that's got a similar story to you, or at least will better understand than what my old silliness, can. But nevertheless, all right, Brick. I think that's it. I think we ran it, man. We went about an hour and a half. Holy Moses. That's a cool story, though, right? Go old hillbilly down home stuff. I heard that a long time ago. I was told that story there, and so I heard another guy tell him, like, "Oh my God, that's right. I remember that one. Be a coffee bean." That's right. All right, brother. Well, listen, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up here, folks that are watching live. Thank you so very much. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. One of the things I used to say, Brick, with the old show was tight lines and be safe. We're gonna keep that tradition going, but we're gonna add one more on there, and we're gonna add it at the end. It's tight lines, be safe, and take care of each other. All right, take care of home base, take care of your friends, take care of your families. There, stick close to that stuff because that's what we're gonna need right now is sticking close and yeah, man, we'll push through this stuff. We'll find ways through this, and we'll keep talking about it. We'll find resolution. We will be the coffee bean.
True.
All right, folks, take care. We'll see you next Sunday.